Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. I thought I'd do this video because this spring for my 3 maples was an experiment. The 2 sister trees that are this size, they go together. The Dishojo, treatment wise, got the same. The only thing it didn't get was its repot, because I missed it. I missed my opportunity. But what I did this year, different to before, if I can find the video where I explained what I was doing and the logic behind it, I'll put an info card up now. Dehumidifier coming on. Unfortunately, I won't be spending long in here doing this video. It's nearly 28 degrees in my orchid room at the moment. The sun is passing over the roof, and when it does that, it heats up a bit. Yes, but what I did was, initially, with the winter plumage, in other words bare twigs, I did my trim, where you get rid of unwanted stuff, crossing branches, all that sort of stuff, your general tidy up. You can do structural work at that time as well if you're still going about that sort of function on your tree. And then in this case I repotted it. But then, as the buds started to move, anybody who grows maples knows that the first thing that happens is a pair of small leaves come out, followed by a little shoot. And I meticulously went round all 3 trees and took those little shoots out while they were minute, before they had chance to extend in any shape or form. The idea being that I didn't get long extensions, because the next thing that shoot, the only thing left for that shoot to do was push the 2 buds inside those tiny little leaves, which would then produce extensions, in theory, a lot shorter than the one in the middle would have been. So that was the theory. In practice, it must have worked to a degree, because unlike this time last year, I can still see my trunk. I can still see some of my shape on this tree. Now, this time last year, this was a solid bush. You couldn't see through it or anything. So all I propose to do today is, where I've got extensions that overlap, or in some cases hide the trunk, it's just a real quick tidy up, like round here. These bits are sticking out, well, they can come off. We've got leaves hanging down here, yeah? Anything that droops and drops down can come off. I'm not being meticulous and going to every shoot and every twig. This is more like along the lines of Chopper Chan, as he's nicknamed. If you run a commercial nursery, you can't go round to every twig on every tree and decide whether to trim or not. He treats a lot of his trees like a hedge, and in the main it sort of works. And I must admit, I am along the same lines, on the grounds that if I try doing every little twig, I will get very fed up and either stop doing it or give up bonsai altogether, because I haven't got that sort of patience. All I'm doing here is recreating this gap. So I'm taking the top off the lower branch and the bottom off the one above it, and then we'll just look at any bits that are sticking out beyond the shape of the pad, which is here. Now, some people go to the extent of taking all the leaves off this time of year, generate a complete new set of leaves. I've never had the nerve to do that. I know people that have, and it can work very well. For instance, if you were in the UK now and you were going to show a maple in the Heathrow show, which is September, you could defoliate now and you'd have a complete new set of leaves, I would imagine, by September, and they'd all be tiny. Again, I'm just looking for things sticking out, basically, that are breaking the original plan. And of course, everywhere where I've cut, it's June, there'll be back budding, there'll be new shoots as a consequence. So this is the bit I was after, this bit hanging down here. It breaks the line of view through that gap. If you haven't got gaps, you've got a bush. And spiders. Blech. I don't mind little ones like that, they eat bugs. And they're welcome to do so. Whoops, missed a bit. Right, so we come around to here now. This is too high, yeah? It's grown upwards, it needs pushing back down. Now, ideally this branch should be bent, but I'm reluctant to do much of that sort of thing on maples. I don't like wire marks, not on deciduous trees. And here, what's happening is the lower pad is growing upwards and the one above it is growing downwards. So just cut in between. Recreate the shape. You know what shape you want for your tree. You know, if you're messing about with this sort of pruning, then you should have already decided that a while back. Just recreate the outline, and anything that breaks that line comes off. And then your line's back again. Now up here, unfortunately, I'm a little short whatnot. And once we get up to the top of the tree, I can't reach, but I can, just about. Now up here we've got a lot of really big leaves, and we do have extensions that are really breaking the line at the top of the tree. So I'm just grabbing handfuls here, and I'll do this a bit at a time. It doesn't matter too much. I mean, a domed apex is what you're really after, but I still like to see some gaps. I've got a dead branch there. I don't know whether my scissors will take that off. Yes, they will. Jolly good. Shouldn't do that with scissors, really. It's not what they're designed for. You go out and spend all this money on the proper tools for the job and then can't be bothered to go and get them and use the wrong one. Yeah, I'm not the only one. I bet others do. Oh, while I'm making this video, I will put my words of hope for Saturday. Tony's Bonsai Bash. I wish I could go. It's a hell of a way up north for me, so I may have bailed out and not gone anyway, but I can't. On Saturday my archery course starts, and I've been signed up for that for a long time, and I've had to wait for a gap in a course. You can't join an archery club unless you've got a certificate to say you've been on a beginner's course that goes over all the safety regulations and everything. And although I used to belong to a club years ago before all that came into being, I haven't got such a certificate. So I have to go on a beginner's course, when in fact I know which way up it goes and such like, but I can understand the principles of safety first, where you've got long pointy things projected at high speed. So I've got to go on that, and as I said, that's been booked up for so long. If I cancel, it'll probably be another year before I can get another slot. So I can't come. I'd love to have attended that with all the people I watch, you know, the UK people that I watch and comment on now and again, and people that comment on my videos. It would have been nice to collect all those loonies together in one place and feed and water them and just generally have some fun. I'd have enjoyed that, I think. Anyway, for all those going, I wish you well. I hope you have a good time. And if there's beers, don't have too many if you're driving home, because we would like to see you again, you know. Yeah, that's all I'm going to do for that. Oh, there's a couple of really big leaves up the top there. See, one of my other things that I have done in previous years on maples is just a routine. Every time I walk past it, take half a dozen big leaves off, just pull them and they come off. And over time you gradually get rid of the biggest leaves, leaving the smaller ones, and it actually gives a nicer appearance. So anyway, that's just a sort of general outline prune, just to bring back some see-through, because for me that's important. If you can't see through, then it doesn't look like a tree, it just looks like a bush. Whereas now, you know, you can see the trunk, you can see the first branches coming off, and you can see the apex splitting into 3 and then again splitting and splitting up here. So it brings back the shape. And now I am overheating, and talking about beer, I want one. So I will go and get one. We put this back out in the sunshine. This gets sunshine from just after lunch to early evening, so it's the afternoon sun it gets nothing in the morning. That might be a little bit too much this time of year, but I've read that if you want good autumn colour, you've got to get some sun on your trees, otherwise it won't work. Anyway, let's get that one back outside. I quite like this tree. It's not what you'd call special, but it's a nice form. It's got some nice pads and some nice sort of shape up through the trunk, as maple trees go. As I say, it doesn't do that, but then maple trees don't do that. See you next time, and have a good time on Saturday, those that are going. I wish you well.